Okay, Mr. Bowman, this is my how-to speech, and the topic is how to recognize when you're in the wrong and how to say you're sorry. And I know that you were wondering, I can tell, but yeah, that blanket over there is a Pokemon blanket. It's pretty cool. It's really, really cool. Anyway, here we go. There are over 7 billion people on this planet, and every single one of them, at one point or another, has had a reason to say, I'm sorry. And since I'm a human as well, and I live on this planet just like everybody else does, I as well have had many, many times in my life when I have needed to say those two words. Even at times when I didn't think I was wrong. In this speech, I'm going to focus on those situations, the ones where you're saying you're sorry, but you're not sure if you should be. By the end of the speech, I hope to have shown you how to recognize those moments and how to elegantly navigate your way through them by purposefully verbalizing yourself and backing up those words with precise body language. Let's take a look at the first step. This is pretty important. It's really hard to do, but what we have to do now is we have to open our minds to the outlandish idea that sometimes we are in the wrong. Maybe not wrong, but in the wrong. Now you say, now how is that possible, to be wrong but not be in the wrong? And there are two types of those situations. First is mostly practiced by men. It just seems to be in our nature, so that's just tough luck. And that is when we are right about one thing while doing something stupid about something else. And it's easy for us to be blinded by our own rightness and to not see our wrongness. And apologizing for something stupid that we're doing right now while we're being right about something else is where the all too common I'm sorry for being right feeling comes from. The second situation is what I call the was or is this worth it situation. This occurs typically when you find yourself in the middle or at the end of a situation where you are right about something, but perhaps at a cost. And asking yourself in those moments, is this worth it, is a good way to determine if you have gone maybe too far. And if the answer is no, it's not worth it, but you are already too deep to back out, then you probably need to apologize even though you might be right about whatever it is that you're doing or talking about. Now, on to the actual apology itself. Verbally expressing yourself is a must. There's no really way around it. It has to be done in order for it to seem real. So all you have to remember, it's real easy. If you can remember these two things, you should be okay. There are two S's of sorry. And the first one is sincerity, and the next one is serious. Basically, you have to mean it. So as long as you're sincere and you take it seriously, then you should mean it. But before we get into those, I want to inform you of two devastating ways to say you're sorry that you always want to avoid. Do not, I repeat, do not do these. It's just not going to be a good idea. The first is by saying I'm sorry in the form of a question. Okay, we're not playing Jeopardy, so saying I'm sorry, not going to cut it. No one's ever going to buy that. It's not going to work. So that's the first one. The second one you want to stay away from is sarcasm. Saying, I'm sorry, one way ticket to the doghouse, from what I've learned anyway. Now, words are great, but unfortunately, there's sometimes not enough for whoever you're apologizing to buy it. So you have to back up those words with body language. And Nick Morgan, a writer for Forbes magazine, says that body language expresses intent, not necessarily thought. Your body knows what it needs and what it wants, usually before you do. And because body language is unconscious, for the most part, I will tell you the two main parts of your body that you need to be aware of when you're apologizing that will help make it seem sincere. The first one are your shoulders. They're pretty important. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice how to position your shoulders in a way that seems like you're sorry. So what I like to do is take a deep breath. Deep breath, and whenever you exhale, just kind of let your body fall. Like let your arms kind of fall into your lap, and then let your shoulders fall down. So you kind of have this slouched, like usually I'm up here, usually have this slouched position. Now, next, shoulders still slouched, the eyes. The eyes are important because that's probably where they're going to be looking when you're talking to them, unless they just will be. So, you don't want happy eyes, and you don't want crazy eyes. You want to think of something sad, okay? So think of puppies, okay? And they're all dead. A whole bunch of them. A whole bunch of puppies are dead. That's pretty sad. Now, what you gotta do, it's gonna be tough. Imagine that they're all dead because of you. Wow. And then there you go. That's where your eyes need to be. Kind of droopy, kind of shocked, almost like sad. Now, as long as you can maintain those two positions when you're apologizing, I don't think you'll have any problems. Saying you're sorry is maybe the most important social practice you will ever learn. So I would suggest you take it seriously, because you don't want to burn your bridges, and it's going to come in handy someday if it already hasn't for you. And the next time you find yourself in a situation where you are right but you're wrong at the same time, I hope that you'll remember what we discussed, and that is the two S's, sincere and seriousness, and the two body parts, shoulders and eyes. And as long as you remember those things, I'm sure that you'll do just fine.